Yow! It's Sanjay Uchiha here, people, giving you my review for episode 61 of Dragon Ball Super. Wait, what was the title again? You know the title, you probably watched the episode already. The Zero Mortals Plan, yeah. But this was probably one of the best episodes yet, but at the same time, one of the most, I guess, head splitting with all the time travel and alternate timelines. But getting into it, so continuing off last week's episode, where we got the revelation that yes, Goku Black is Zamasu. However, Goku goes on to ask him if he's Zamasu, then who's the other guy? So the immortal Zamasu reveals that yes, he is future Zamasu from their perspective. So essentially, he is from Future Trunks' timeline. And here's where the confusion really starts. Apparently, Goku Black, well, the Zamasu that's in his Goku's body there, he's actually the same present Zamasu that Beerus would have killed. Well, the way I see, there's some split in the timeline, but I'll get more into that later. It's a bag of confusion there. But after that, we get an awesome combination attack between the two Zamasus. Well, you know, Zamasu and Goku Black, where they fired their respective ki blasts and they merge into one. Yeah, fireball. But yeah, after that, Goku Vegeta goes Super Saiyan Blue, Trunks in Super Saiyan 2, and then Goku and company charge, and apparently Goku seems to forget that Zamasu is immortal, because we see him trying to blast his head off, but to no effect. But after this fight scene, we get more exposition where Goku Black's background is concerned. So it's revealed that yes, he did kill Gowasu, took the time ring, and he made the wish to the Super Shenlong, from the Super Dragon Balls, obviously, to switch bodies with Goku. And after that, he came to this timeline to recruit his future counterpart. And it seems that this future Zamasu hadn't, decided to go ahead with a similar or alternative timeline plan as well. But he's of the same mindset, and that's why it was so easy for Goku Black to actually go ahead and recruit him. So after that, it's revealed that yes, future Zamasu and Black decided to gather the Super Dragon Balls in this timeline and get future Zamasu immortality as well. And then they apparently destroyed the Super Dragon Ball so that their plans can't be, any changes or any wishes to revert what they've done can't be undone. And then similar to how it was revealed in the manga that Black was searching for a timeline without a god of destruction, it's revealed here that Black went to the alternate universes within Future Trunks' timeline and killed off all of the other gods. But based on the silhouettes, it seemed like it would have been the Supreme Kais. And since we know that the Supreme Kais and the Gods of Destruction are linked, by extension, all of the Gods of Destruction in Future Trunks' timeline would have been dead. So essentially, Goku Black and Zamasu are the only godlike authorities in Future Trunks' timeline. So after that, we get an additional fight scene between Team Goku Black and Team Goku. Black versus but yeah, eventually Trunks and Vegeta are essentially taken out of, well, they're not knocked out, but Goku Black and Zamasu perform another combination technique, blasting them into a building, and then it's at this point that Zamasu and Black team up on Goku and explain to him, well, they ask him if he wants to know what happens to his family, and we get to see how essentially after Zamasu switched bodies with Goku, he came to Earth and killed Goku, as well as Chi-Chi and Goten. So, I guess another reason to hate Zamasu, and I guess another reason to say he's a pretty good villain because he's actually getting stuff done. But yeah, moving on. So after hearing this, and this is one of my favorite parts of the episode, not because it was just epic, but it really adds to Goku's character where Dragon Ball Super is concerned. Because, over the course of Dragon Ball Super, Goku's been, kind of... He just seems more stupid than usual. And seeing him react to the news of how his family was killed, it really does add to his character and remind me of how he was in the Frieza saga after Krillin got killed. So we get like a 2 minutes of fame where Goku's concerned, of him getting a rage boost and overpowering Black and Zamasu, which was one of the best parts of the episode to me. But eventually, you know how Goku Black is. He eventually responds by even powering up even further, as noted by Zamasu. And then Goku's 2 minutes of fame just had to end. We get this awesome scene of Goku Black using that Keyblade, but an enhanced version apparently. And he does this like Power Ranger-esque samurai shit where he actually stabs Goku multiple times, and then boom, Goku's out of the fight essentially. And it's at this point afterwards that we find out that one of the reasons that Goku Black decided to enact his plan to destroy all mortals, especially Earthlings, is because of Future Trunks' meddling with the timeline, which, as we know, breaks the rules that the gods set, the taboo of time travel and altering the timelines essentially. So they're kind of tying it back into the Cell/Android saga there, I guess as a punishment for Trunks' noble yet selfish actions, I guess you could put it like that. Moving on, Vegeta. One thing I liked in this episode as well was Vegeta asking Zamasu and Black about the utopia they're planning to build, because I'm sure we as viewers have wondered, if Zamasu and Black kill off all mortals, what kind of utopia are they hoping to build? But they give like a generic answer, like, you know, Vegeta wouldn't understand, which I'm hoping they eventually dive more into this whole Zero Mortals plan. But yeah, eventually Trunks tries to take on Black while he asks Vegeta to take on Zamasu, and Trunks gets basically one-shotted essentially. After this, we get like the next best scene in this episode, and Trunks has like a Gohan moment essentially, like a moment of extreme rage, but it's not your regular rage power-up. Trunks goes on to transform into a Super Saiyan form we've never seen before. As in, his hair is still golden, but within the golden aura, there's a layer of, I guess, you know, the same aura that the Super Saiyan Blues would have? Yeah. So essentially, it seems he has godly ki, so I'm not sure how that goes. His hair is a bit longer, and he has no pupils, so he has that kind of Broly effect going for him. So I'm not sure. Based on, I had watched the episode last night on, well, Saturday night, yeah, last night. But according to the translations that Herms provided, well, one of the tweets that Herm made was that he had become the polar opposite of Super Saiyan God. So I'm not sure. Yeah, the polar opposite of Super Saiyan God. So I'm not sure about that one. I was reasoning with a friend at one point, and he was suggesting a theory that the Super Saiyan Blues was essentially them going from Super Saiyan and unlocking God Ki and combining with that. So probably it's an opposite where he uses his Super Saiyan energy and then, I don't know, ascends to a godly state. Something of the sort. I'm not sure. We'll still have to wait for future confirmation, but knowing Dragon Ball Super, they probably won't, you know, go into more details on that. And that's where the episode essentially ends. How far? 9 minutes? Yeah. Okay, so I don't know. Giving my thoughts on this episode. Action, it's there. It's up there with episode 57 and 56. It's probably one of my top 5 episodes, but it's also one of the most head-splitting episodes as well, where Black is concerned. Because the thing is, it's heavily implied that, as I said earlier in the video, that Black is the same Zamasu that Goku and company fought. But here's the problem now, and I'm pretty sure Geekdom 101 mentioned this in one of his videos, well, a lot of his videos at this point, in that it's a time loop, in the sense that Trunks went to the past originally because Black showed up in his timeline, but it's implied that Black is only created because Trunks went back to warn them, causing Goku to, go and investigate Zamasu in Universe 10. So it's kind of like this weird time loop. What I was, I guess, suggesting in one of my previous videos was that probably Black would have been from the unseen timeline. Because the way how Dragon Ball works is that, well, unless it's been updated, I know there are 4 timelines. So essentially, the cell that Gohan killed, that's one timeline, right? We know that that cell killed the Trunks of that timeline. That Trunks had traveled back in time to what I'm calling the unseen timeline. And a lot of other people call the unseen timeline anyway. Fair enough. Cell traveled back in time and created the main timeline and the future Trunks timeline, I believe. So that's how you have 4 different timelines. Yeah. But, what I was suggesting is that probably Black would have met Goku under different circumstances. I don't know, probably on GodTube. I don't know. That seems like a likely case. Probably in the unseen timeline, things probably went similar to the main timeline up to the Universe 6 arc, and probably Zamasu would have seen Goku on GodTube, and then probably used and found about Super Dragon Balls by extension, and he would have used the time ring and the Super Dragon Balls to take over his body there, and then he would have traveled to this timeline. Or it's either that or Trunks created a branch in the main timeline when he traveled back. So probably the original in the main timeline was supposed to be, Zamasu somehow finds out about Goku and then, kills him, takes over his body, whatever. But when Trunks travels back, he creates a branch of that timeline where Zamasu is dead and where, Black is created. But the thing is, it's interesting to note that all the characters were saying that killing Zamasu in the past should have affected him in the future. But the important note here is that Black pointed out that he's protected by the time ring. It's all confusing. I know. I may do a discussion video trying to kind of list out all my points where this time travel deal is concerned, because I feel like I'm kind of rambling on here, but at the end of the day, I'm still giving my thoughts. If you've seen the spoilers for the next few episodes, you would think that where Trunks is concerned now, that he's probably even stronger than Goku and Vegeta. Because even based going on the preview alone, it seems that he alone will be going up against Black and Zamasu. So that's something to note. But all in all, apart from the head-splitting time travel deal, it was a great episode. It's up there in the top 5, to me at least. Great characterization where Goku is concerned, great use of all the characters, Goku, Vegeta, and Trunks. Get better revelations in terms of information and backstories where Black and Zamasu are concerned, as well as establishing Zamasu as a even, I guess, more despicable villain, really. So I may do a video later on in the week talking about this whole time travel aspect and probably the problems with it and probably suggestions on how they could, I guess, fix it. But yeah, at the moment it just seems either Black may be from the unseen timeline, or the more likely case is that Trunks created a branch in the main timeline when he traveled back to learn about Black, and originally probably Zamasu had fought Goku or found out about him under different circumstances. But yeah, that's my review. So if you like this, like, share, comment, subscribe, I don't know, eat some meats, something like that. And I'll see you in the next one.